Have you ever felt like you're stuck in a waiting room, watching everyone else get called in while you're just sitting there? You have a dream, a promise in your heart, but your reality looks nothing like it. In fact, it feels like you're moving further away from it. If that's you, I want to talk about something crucial today. The process before the promise. We often celebrate the destination, the mountaintop moments, but we rarely talk about the difficult, lonely, and often painful journey required to get there. Let us look at one of the most powerful stories about this. The story of Joseph in Genesis. Joseph had a big dream from God. He saw his family bowing down to him. It was a clear promise of future greatness. But what happened next? Did he get a promotion? A corner office? No. He was thrown into a pit by his own brothers, sold into slavery, and then falsely accused and thrown into prison. For 13 long years, his life was a series of devastating setbacks. This wasn't a detour. This was his path. His journey illustrates 4 key stages we all go through in the process. First, there's isolation. Joseph was physically and emotionally alone, far from home and everyone he loved. Sometimes, God has to separate us from the familiar to develop our reliance on Him alone. In that lonely place, your character is forged in ways that just can't happen when you're comfortable. Next comes misunderstanding. Joseph's own family misunderstood his dream as arrogance. Potiphar's wife twisted his integrity into an accusation. In prison, the cupbearer forgot him. When you're in your process, people might not get your vision. They might misjudge your motives or question your calling. It hurts, but it teaches you to find your validation not in people's opinions, but in the one who gave you the promise. Then there's the delay. 13 years. Think about that. 13 years of waiting, of things not making sense. This is where so many of us want to give up. The waiting period feels like a punishment, but it's not punishment. It's preparation. The Bible tells us in James chapter 1 to consider it pure joy whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. That delay is building something in you that you will desperately need when the promise is fulfilled. For Joseph, it was patience, humility, and the administrative skills he learned running Potiphar's house and the prison. Finally, all this leads to character building. The arrogant boy who boasted about his dreams became the humble, wise man who could stand before Pharaoh and say, "I cannot do it, but God will." He learned forgiveness, integrity, and absolute dependence on God. The prison wasn't just a place of confinement. It was a classroom. The process stripped away his pride and entitlement and built the character needed to manage the entire nation of Egypt. And this brings us to that beautiful promise in Romans 8:28. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. Notice it says in all things, not in just the good things. That means the pit, the slavery, the false accusation. The prison God was weaving all of it together for Joseph's good and for a greater purpose, saving an entire nation from famine. So if you're in a season of isolation, misunderstanding, or delay, take heart. You're not being punished. You're being prepared. Your character is being refined. Your skills are being sharpened. God is working behind the scenes, turning what feels like a mess into a masterpiece. The process is just as important as the promise. Don't despise your waiting room. It's where you become the person who can handle the blessing that's on its way. Thank you so much for watching. If this resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more content to encourage you on your journey. See you next time.